I'm Chef Jared Gordon with the Feed It Forward program, and it's about taking food as a food rescue system here locally in Ontario and diverting that from landfills and feeding people in need of food security. You know, as a caterer, noticing the copious amounts of food that are left over and utilizing it in an appropriate way rather than discarding it. And as I communicated through other chefs, I noticed that there's a big need for this. So in 2014, I put together a project that was done on the Junction Triangle, which is at, let's say, Dundas and Bloor in Toronto, where I took a commercial freezer that held enough meals to feed 8 families per day, up to 4 people per family, continuously for a year, which was the equivalent of about 12,000 meals of my leftover food. So I basically converted these leftover products and made nutritionally balanced meals and offered to families in need on a monthly rotation system. Here in Canada, we have $107 billion worth of food that's still edible that goes to waste annually, and there's not too many programs out there that are initialized to feed people directly. There's a lot of companies that are obtaining these products and food that are left over, but necessarily don't meet, to see the tables of people in need. There's a lot of soup kitchens and food banks that discard more than they actually receive too. So it's about working with the people on the street directly and giving it back to people in need.
Sam. I found Feed It Forward actually just after the restaurant, the free restaurant. I was in a rough year, so my husband was in a different, was getting treatment, and I was actually at the women's shelter across the street because we had gone some bad times, and Feed It Forward was right across the street. So I literally showed up one day, and then they needed help for an event, so I started, and I actually never left. So at the time, it was a really small team. It was just Chef Jagger and his nephew.
At that one location.
Yeah, at that there, and Adam, and they were working even more so now than they were then, or more so then than they are now, because it was a smaller team. And to see people work as hard as they did every day, nonstop, and then I've never volunteered before, but then also to see the recipients who were receiving free meals and free food and free market, that I've now found a calling that I've never had of to give back. So not only did it help me, but then I also found out who I was, and now I think I basically said, you either have to hire me or fire me because I'm not leaving.
And now she's on the board of directors.
Yeah, so to see someone thank you that it's their only meal that they will only receive today, and they actually know that, or to see a mother come and get some veggies because they don't have enough money to put on their table by Friday or at the end of the week, to see the gratitude from them when they say thank you. You learn to read people. You've learned to read sincerity from people. And I've heard lots of speeches from different people that you clientele there, but when you get those people that without that they wouldn't know what to do, that's why I do what I do. Because of, even if it's just that one person, you're helping that one person that you know will not get to eat anywhere else. And that this is a staple that they can count on, that we're not going anywhere, that they know that they can call or email or show up there, and that we will drive 4 hours to drop some food off to them if need be. And I've seen it from the heart of him and Adam, that they have actually driven 4 hours to pick up food to feed someone. So that's why I do what I do.
We have about 11 programs that are running throughout the city, from the street levels, from feeding people to opening up the zero waste, pay what you can, free or paid forward restaurant called the Soup Bar, where we feed about 200 to 300 people a day, and we divert about 500 pounds of products that are destined to landfills and put them on the tables for people in need. The other programs we have going on is we create meals for about 1,000 people a week for the out of the cold situations that we're dealing with. So we're working with 4 programs in the city that are offering 24-hour residency on a temporary basis, and we fill the niche in between meals or snacks that they are in need of. So we deliver that continuously on a daily basis. Other programs, we rescue about 1,000 pounds of vegetables and products from the grocery stores That's all I can basically, my facility can deal with volunteers on a daily basis. We process that into either we chop and freeze for the next processing system, which is making soups or stews to give out to these programs. So through the grocery store is one aspect, but we also divert, let's just say every month or so, we can divert about $100,000 worth of products to the First Nations now. So I'll take a tractor trailer, fill it up, and send it off to First Nations, where they'll separate that and bring it out to 3 of their reserves. So all these great products, and most of the products that we deal with are organic. So I'd rather give something of great substance to people in need that are in need of it, let alone the children aspect of it. But on the First Nations part of it, the quality of food is it's lacking. So when you deal with a tractor trailer load which has over 50,000 items in it, that can touch a lot of people. What other projects? Oh yes, I have another app. This app is pretty cool. This app is going to be launched in the next month. And what it does, it's if you have a piece of pizza left over at your house, or if you're creating let's just say a bowl or a pot of stew or soup, and you don't want to finish it all, you're able to upload it onto my app and give it to people for free. So it's a Kijiji Uber form system where it shows, you log in you set up a profile and you log in. And there's a receiving end to it, and there's a donating section to it. And what it does is, it's like an Uber apping, so it shows you where all the free meals are, what time you can get them at, and you just log into it and you can acquire it. So having one piece of pizza or a bowl of soup, or even a tractor trailer load of full of product, rather than going into the land masses, we can now divert it and give it to people in need. And the cool thing about the app is there's a calculator system for the carbon footprint. So what it does, it shows you how much food we're saving from the landfills and how much that actually costs, and it's saving on the environment. And each city will have its own meter system, where it's going to be more like a competition now, who's going to be saving the most. So imagine that picking up. So all these things that I am talking about are self-sustainable, but they are also showing the public that it can be done anywhere. And I'm showing the business model of it. And the business model of it is not having a budget, my own budget. So I pay for all these things. So rather than having and looking for money, it can be done as a community-based program, because we have over 500 volunteers with the Feed It Forward program. So like-minded people are making a difference, and that's what it's about, bringing community together and making that happen. How was that audio for you? So under the Good Samaritan's Law, there's not much of a barrier for us, because the Good Samaritan's Law was created in 1994, where any food that is edible and is donated on good faith and received on good faith, there's no liabilities. So a lot of these corporations, I'm going to be the hooligan that it exposes this, but the insurance companies have put a labeling system where you cannot give stuff away or will be sued. Well, unfortunately, that's not the truth. Well, the law is in 1994, we can give food away and there could be no liability. So this opens up the country to me. So within a 10-year spectrum that I have, there'll be a law in place that makes it mandatory that any food that is edible to be donated, created by the citizens that are signing my petition on my website that I have over 100,000 signatures on, that it will be tabled and be approached by Mr. Trudeau himself to make this law in place. But the true vision of everything is being able to supply and to offer all this great food that's destined to landfills and give it to people in need on many different platforms, as I mentioned. Could I see any more? Well, it seems to me as every month comes to me, something new we're taking on. So until things are created, then I can't disclose or discuss what's not there, but only for what could happen. So what could happen is everyone can eat, because 1 in 4 children here in Toronto alone go hungry. So I'm trying to address the scholastic systems, and the retirement homes. I do understand what happens and what goes on with the food systems in there, and that everyone needs a healthier, sustainable lifestyle, and I can give that to them. Or at least we can. I shouldn't say we as a team. So people ask me, how do you not sleep? Well, I work on a 4 to 5 hour platform of sleeping. And because every time the phone rings, there's someone in need or someone needs to divert. And until there's a protocol set up where I can have people taking care of this, I am first hands. We're first responders. So our new theory is we're food rescuers, and that is our tagline now. So I'm passing it out to the world that you can be a food rescue hero by joining our cause, and that's hashtag Food Rescue Hero. If I can, everyone in reach, I can feed in any which way, that's success. That's my success. I've given up a lifestyle to become who I am today. And as I've mentioned this many times, it's a Robin Hood effect. Taking from yourselves and giving more to others. As long as you can hold your own lifestyle, and whatever lifestyle that be. I mean, I'm at an age where my daughter's all grown up now, and I can now work on what my community needs. So throughout all this, how it started was seeing the hunger of my daughter's friends. So I would host sleepovers, because she would go over to their house and explain to me that their fridges were empty, and how they didn't have the luxury of having snacks at night or having a nutritious, balanced meal throughout the weekend. And there's so many different variables and stories why, but my theory was is bring all your friends over, let's feed them all, and we'll continue on that way. And this is how it grew. So people being complacent, it's about making a change. People have to pop their bubble, go out of their box, and want to see a difference made. Now, for the people that are situated in their own little world and don't want to see a change, well, then I can't do anything for them. I can only help people that want change, especially people that are in need. So if they want to change their lives, well, we can facilitate that through a simple system of food. Once you eat, your mind works better. So how and what restraints do I have? And anything like this, there's not much. Providing I keep on going and I do what I can for best. The way they can join or collaborate is by offering what their services and what they're able to. No one's asking for much more. If you got something that you need to offer or they could offer, then donate it. And as a caterer, I'm able to take the proceeds from that and give it to my program called Feed Afford. And that's a simple system. We are now, in the application form for a charitable status, which will give the world a whole different aspect. Once I get charitable status, then the sky's the limit, right? People want something for something right now. And unfortunately, that's just the rules of engagement when it comes to this. So I'm willing to give them what they need, provided they can offer to the community. And that'll happen shortly. To know that we can make a difference with food security, and by educating everyone not to eat, overbuy, or discard food that could be utilized. So in the aspect of 107,000 or $107 billion worth of food going to waste, 40% of it comes from our own home and retail. And what happens is people overshop. So what I try to instill to people is, when you go in that grocery store and you push that cart around, you fill it up, you fill your fridge, you look proud and happy that you spent all your hard-earned money into that fridge, but after 3 days, things start to wilt. You don't know what to do with it. What do you do with it? You throw it out, right? Every leaf that you peel off that lettuce that looks wilted, you throw it out. Well, rather than cutting off the little blemished area, processing it, putting it in the freezer, or eating it, you'd rather just throw it out because it looks ugly. So the ugly fruit and vegetable aspect of things can be processed before it goes bad. So you have to think ahead. Menu planning and underspending is the key. Teaching people, educating people how to cook, which is another great way of too. Online presence is a huge thing. YouTube is a great presence platform for people to really understand what they can do with their leftovers or with products that are sitting in their fridge. Like if you have 4 different items in your fridge, Google it. What can I do with this, this, and this? And I'm sure 4 or 5 different options will pop up. So education's huge. So educating people how to make a difference. To the viewers and to announce, the great projects that are at hand, can you imagine everyone working together on this and making a difference? I believe my app that will be coming out will make that difference, because not only that people are hungry, but people have food to offer, and this will be a good platform for people to see a difference. So yes, join the app. The name will be launched. You'll be able to read it about in the media next month.